Hello, and welcome to episode 192 of Checkpoint Chat. My name is Alessandro Barbosa. I'm joined Matthew Figuera.
We have power for now.
Do we, though?
Do we?
Do we have power in this situation?
No.
No.
People could write novels about they could they could parallel
but the trials and tribulations
the lack
of
of power
with...
from ESCOM and the lack of power the person feels in their hearts.
Stage. What would you call the book? The Stage of My Heartbreak.
6 stages of heartbreak. Hire me, random book authors. I mean, publishers.
But yeah, we have electricity, so we don't have to be recording in person, which means I don't have to see Matthew in person. Thank God.
Recording in person is a great time, but we just lacked the hardware to do to do it properly.
Well, we lacked the single cable I forgot. Yeah. That I forgot at home because I'm an idiot.
It happens.
Yeah. It also means we didn't have to wake up like super early to organize it.
Well, I didn't have to. You had to drive to me. So
Fair enough. You had to supply me with free coffee.
I did.
As tribute. And you did, gracefully.
We did. Lenska did. Wasn't me.
That's true.
She supplied both of us with coffee. I'm like, why are you paying tribute? You haven't got any cables. What's going on here?
Very gracious of her to supply me free coffee that day.
It's a good time. But
and you're going to get free coffee later.
Mm-hmm. So apologies for the audio quality last week. It was unforeseen, unprecedented times.
I tried my very best to fix it. I did. I mean, I fixed it as best I could, but there was a certain point where it was like, I can't actually do much more about this. It is what it is.
Lesson learned.
If you have no idea what we're talking about, then shame on you for not listening to last week.
You call yourself a super fan.
How dare you?
You call yourself a level 6 heartbreak shedding fan. I mean...
Gonna take away your Twitch emotes.
What is this?
No more emotes.
We don't even have a Twitch channel.
I'll take away Matty's Twitch emotes from you.
Oh no.
Do you even have Twitch emotes? You do have custom ones, don't you?
Yeah. I got a handful.
You got to get some new ones of Lupin and Luna. Just
that'd be cool. Just them, like our friend Discord with all the cats.
Yes, we have all of our cats as emotes, and I think the one that's most used is
Tracy.
I don't know whose cat it is actually.
I think it's Susu.
Is it Susu?
The black cat one. Yeah, going.
Yeah, just like real shock, and also like a derp shock.
No, but the actual code to use it is just chaos.
Yes, it's very good.
Yeah,
I do love that one.
Straight up chaos.
Emotes are great. Yeah. You were streaming a bit this week. I saw. I hopped in, and then I was expecting to see some Monster Hunter, and it was more Fortnite.
No, you know what it is that we start off with.
It's fun. You have an addiction. You don't have to explain it.
We start off with 30 to 45 minutes of Fortnite because we get those dailies and weeklies done, and then we bounce to Monster Hunter. If you stay on later, you'd see I play ample Monster Hunter.
I mean, I would have, but then I lost power. So, I'm surprised though that you haven't even finished the battle pass. I was like, oh, I have lots of time this season to come back and do this. And now looking at you, who's actually doing the dailies like quite consistently, I'm like,
no, I mean,
I'm never going to get Darth Vader.
No, well, remember, look, you don't have to do the dailies. It's only been the last week or two that I've really committed to just getting a little bump of extra XP. But the season lasts 3 months. 10 weeks. So I think it's 10 weeks.
I think it's still September. Yeah.
So if you do your weeklies, which are actually relatively straightforward, if you spend some time just ticking them off, you'll level up super quickly.
Or I could just pay money.
Or you could just pay money straight into, what's his name? Tim Sweeney.
Up at Tim Sweeney's
back pocket. And he goes,
I'd be like, Tim Sweeney, I give you the money, you give me the Vader.
Fortnite bucks. He says.
Yeah, Fortnite bucks.
Because you took Spanish class at school at one time. Aren't
they adding like Indiana Jones now as well?
Indy's in this week, so there's a whole separate quest line, which you could actually do that because you've got the battle pass, and then there's a specific quest line.
I haven't purchased
it yet. Okay, but there's a specific quest line just for that, which shouldn't take you too long to do. So there you go.
You think they'll replace the whole? Because I know in the game now you can actually find Darth Vader and kill him and take his lightsaber. Do you think they'll replace that with the whip?
I mean, that would be very cool. I wonder if... Well, what's been interesting with this season is that every week there's like a baby update and then something changes. There's always a subtle addition or removal. What is it this week? Portafort, did you ever experience those?
I did see you mention that. So you picked one up, but I didn't see you use it.
So
I have no idea what it does.
Okay, so Portafort is something you throw it out and it literally makes like a mini structure around you. It gives you...
I thought we were in no build mode. What is this?
No, but that's what makes it so interesting because it's no build mode, but there is a Portafort, which is a huge advantage, especially...
It's like an instant fort.
Yeah, an instant fort, and then it gives you heart, it gives you defense, obviously, because people have to run to you to try to get into a door to get into a Portafort. So that was added this week, for example. And I don't know, just there are parts of the map that changes, and the game just it's so good.
Are really the gun trees still there?
The gun trees are still there.
I do love the persistent gun trees. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they were
patched. Got to water your gun trees.
They were a bit overpowered.
Yeah, they seemed a bit hectic.
Every time you just
walk into a game and get a gold gun. Yeah, exactly. It seemed a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, now they've balanced it out there. I think it's like every second or third game you'll have your tier of guns, and then you only get one or two at a time. It's still really handy to have.
You don't get like a full stack out of them. Yeah,
but it's still really
because otherwise you just plant them and just like go there and land there and immediately take your guns. It'd be like, cool. Now I can just hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortnite, what a good time! I can't believe
game.
I'm hooked on that again.
What a game! Do you know what else we're hooked on? Video games.
Wow, that was actually like the world's shortest intro with a bit of Fortnite. We just
I didn't want to talk for 10 minutes about load shedding again. It's so depressing. It's so shit. I hate it.
Heartbreak shedding.
But because of God, you see, I'm bringing it up again. But because of load shedding, my time to actually play games this week has been severely limited. So we're mostly going to be carried by good old Matthew Figuera here.
I'll talk a little bit.
Who's been snorting digital cocaine in the form of Monster Hunter Sunbreak.
Yeah, Monster Hunter Sunbreak is... This is my 10-second elevator pitch. It's good. That's the pitch.
That was only 2 seconds. I need more.
It's real good. That's 4 seconds. So for those of you who don't know, Monster Hunter... Well, Sunbreak is the expansion to Monster Hunter Rise, which was the Switch Monster Hunter that launched early last year and was ported to PC at the beginning of this year. Sunbreak launched, end of 30th of June on both PC and Switch. And it is just a new story in a new location with new monsters and returning monsters, and it is really crack cocaine. It's been quite interesting because I played the original Monster... Well, I played Rise on Switch last year, and I put a lot of time into that. So when it came to PC, I thought, hey, cross-save would be nice, but alas, Capcom said not today.
Not today.
If you want to play it on PC, you just have to grind up again. You gotta rush through that story. And to their credit, knowing that the expansion's coming out and to fast track people to get there, they give... I think like in the last month they patched in an armor set and a weapon for each class that was high damage and that. So you could still like quote unquote rush through the base game. And by rush, I mean it took me about 23 hours to get through that base game.
Casual, super quick.
Casual, and that's me doing only the urgent quests. That's me being carried by friends who have high level gear to turn some of those hunts into 5-minute affairs. There's a lot of game there. It's despite it being rushed. But now I am knee deep in Sunbreak. I think I actually started it either last Friday or last Saturday. I might have done a mission or two, but now I've put in a fair bit of time. And yeah, it's just such a good expansion for a number of reasons. They've made, story and gameplay aside, they've just made some neat optimizations. They've added some extra mechanics, which just round out the whole experience. But in terms of the actual gameplay, it's still that good crack Monster Hunter where, you're working your way through. Well, in the base game, it's called Hunter Rank. You fight little monsters, you get, quote unquote, graded, and you work your way to Hunter Rank 7 and beyond. Now in Sunbreak, you get a thing called Master Rank because you're a Master Hunter now. Okay, you're really good at what you do. But it's the same concept of, okay, you Master Rank 1 now. You're going to work your way through Master Rank 1, 2, 3, and 4. Through, via a whole lot of quests which are tied to story beats and whatnot. But what's interesting, I've never played a Monster Hunter before, right? So if I'm assuming people who have played World, for example, would know that expansion is, the Iceborne expansion at the time is really just more of the same monsters with a few extra added. And that's what Sunbreak is. You end up fighting a lot of the same monsters from base Rise game, but they're a lot harder and they have one or two new moves. They also feel way more aggressive. Like it's with the hunts I've done with my friends, we often just like, oh my god, this thing just stays still, like it just keeps moving around. And monsters hit a lot harder. But all that said, it's got that Monster Hunter loop of, okay, you're fighting the same monsters, but because they've got new moves and they master rank versions of themselves, you get new weapons and new armor sets, which look the same as the base game, but they've got either more perks or they've got better defense, or usually both. But you do in fact get new monsters, and the ones I fought have been a lot of fun. There are some great fights in this game, and I'm only on Master Rank 4. I think it might go to 5, 6, maybe 7. I actually don't know, because I think this might be a case of, remember base Rise, you get to you get to a point like, okay, cool, that's all the hunts we have for you. Come back in a month when we patch in more story content. Which is very strange.
I didn't like that when it first launched. It was like that. It seemed a bit weird.
It did it 2 or 3 times. So I wonder if, because I know if you look at their roadmap, they do say, in Q1 or Q2, whatever, we've got more monsters coming and this and that. And then in Q3, we've got more monsters coming and this and that. So I don't know if there's an actual definitive ending here. I'm guessing there is, but there's going to be lots of things to hunt in future. I just don't know what the cap, the rank cap is. But sure, after all that rambling, again, I'll just say Monster Hunter is one of those games where I acknowledge it's a steep learning curve. They do they try onboard stuff. So like going through the base game again, being slapped with so many tutorial screens. Even though I knew how to play the game, I was like, oh my god, there's so much to take in here. But if you get through that skill ceiling, you pick up a weapon, you learn a thing or two, it really is so addictive. There's just something so satisfying about, you'll fight the same monsters multiple times because you want parts to craft specific weapons or gear. Or you just, if you party up, you're just helping others fight for whatever gear they're looking for. And I don't know, there's just something so addictive about it. You learn how the monster attacks, you learn the ins and outs of your weapons, and it's just such a good loop. Just last night I played a couple hours and we did some hunts, and it's like, oh cool, like I can now craft this better version of the sword I'm currently using. Oh, I can now craft this sword with this affinity or this element. Oh, I can now craft this armor set. And it's just rinse and repeat, because then I've got what I want, but I know there's always something else to work towards.
That gear rush. You just want to see the numbers go higher and higher.
Exactly. And also then when you start fighting the same monsters over and over, you start deep diving into, this monster's weak to poison. Let me equip my poison sword. Oh, do I have an armor set to go with that? Like, I'm not there yet, but I know endgame you can really sit and do interesting builds around certain weapons or your play style, that sort of thing.
You can go hunt monsters with the parts of their fallen brethren.
Yeah, exactly. And it's in terms of actual content, like if you really want a number crunch, I mean, I've put in 140 hours on the Switch version. I've probably put in about 40 hours now with the base game and expansion on PC. And 80% of that has been just with Longsword, which is one of 14 different weapon classes. And I still feel that I'm getting better at it. I'm still learning how to play with it properly. But if I wanted to, I could bounce another weapon and it'll feel like a completely different game. Learning that weapon's pros and cons. I mean, John Michael, for example, is now switching between two classes because he prefers fighting certain monsters with his one weapon and others with the other. So you can like really, really get into the nitty gritty of this. If you're looking for a lot of good RPG grinding and numbers and classes and it's just such a good time. And I will say last thing on it is that you played Rise. I don't know if you finished it, but that story was
no, I didn't get to the end. Sadly,
even calling it a story was a stretch. It's like, oh no,
yeah, it was just a vessel for you to take on hunts. Really.
Yeah, there's monsters and you need to hunt them, and then you get to the next story beats. Oh no, there's a bigger monster. In Sunbreak, it feels that look, the story is still very much the same thing of oh no, there's a mysterious monster doing something, but it does feel like they've put a lot more effort into the cutscenes and the characters and that sort of stuff. One new feature which I actually haven't explored really yet is that you can do follower quests. So it's single player only content where you can actually do hunts with a lot of the characters in the game. So
that's cool. Like people you find in the hub world.
Yeah, you'll remember like Hinota and Minota, the twins.
Yes.
You can do hunts with them, for example. Like they'll
or
actually
like the
come
blacksmith or something.
Yeah, they'll actually come and do hunts with you. And
that's cool.
Surprisingly, the AI is really, really, really good. So there are some story quests where you are forced to do hunts with them. And in the handful that I've done, I've seen the AI like go to the other side of the map to bring like to Wyvern Ride a monster to the one I'm fighting. I've had the AI heal me when I'm about to die. I've seen the AI trap the monster using items. So they're like
so they
actually
don't just
useful.
Sit there and get killed and ask you to revive them essentially.
They actually do some good shit.
Well, that's good. That's real good.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Do you ever get to go into battle with the bunny dango cats?
Not that I've seen, but I hope so.
That's still like probably 50% of my enjoyment on that game is just that bunny dango song and just watching it all. You're a monster if you skip it. I'm just saying.
There's a new one. There's a whole new hub area. There's new bunny dango to enjoy.
There's a new one. There's a new song.
No,
oh my god!
Is it a new song? I think it's similar. That's what.
Oh my god! It's worth the price of entry alone.
Wow.
Bunny dango, can't YouTube it. Need to experience it in game at 144 hertz.
Yeah, it's one of those games like I know you would enjoy it, but I acknowledge it's just the sheer thought of to get through the base game and then commit so much time to this game.
Yeah.
But
it's a bummer. Yeah.
Take my hat off to
I do want to, like, maybe if I didn't have Elden Ring on my plate,
my goodness,
I would probably do it, but I just know that if I like drop Elden Ring, I'm just not going to get back to it.
You'll never get back. Yeah, you got to finish that Elden Ring. Yeah, but
I'm making hard life decisions. Like I want to play. I want to play the new Cuphead DLC as well.
I still need to play base Cuphead. Yeah, but it's the same with me in that regard of. Well, not the same. It's just what I'm getting. It's that I played Elden Ring and I put so much time into that game. And instead of replacing Elden Ring with, quick indies or AAA titles, I've decided to just move straight to Monster Hunter, which is not going to end anytime soon. I'm going to keep grinding out those monsters and having a good time.
Keep grinding those monsters. Just shove them into a meat grinder and out pops a weapon at the other end. Here's your new samurai sword.
My long sword was a huge crab claw. What do you mean?
I know. I did see that, which is amazing. The fact that a crab claw can be a sword.
I mean,
it almost seems like it should be a mallet of some sort.
Using the word affixing sword to it is a bit of a stretch because you read the description.
Is the claw
it's
at the
sharp.
end? is it at the tip of the sword, or is the claw like part of the handle?
No, it's at the tip of the sword. So you actually
that makes no fucking
you're beating
sense.
people with the claw.
Absolutely zero sense. Like, can you do your sheath attack with that thing?
Yes.
That's so stupid and so amazing at the same time.
I love it. I take my hat off to this team because it's this weird thing of Monster Hunters. The story is very serious. Like, oh no, there's monsters. But it's so lighthearted and so silly in so many ways, and they really lean into that. Like, if you put on a specific armor set or a weapon, it's you don't even get a surprise. You're like, oh, of course it's a huge crab claw. I don't know what I expected.
Yeah, of course it is. Like, they weren't going to give me like the leg. Like,
no.
You can't tell from just a leg that it's a crab. I need that whole ass claw.
Actual claw. Yeah. But yeah,
does Monster Hunter have sniper crabs or sniper crustaceans?
No, but the crustaceans do have a water jet attack, which is real annoying. Can snipe you.
See? Yeah. Mm-hmm. They have AWPs just like they do in Elden Ring. They just fucking snipe you from the other end of the map.
Man, I have PTSD from those damn lobsters.
You can't even fucking hear them. You just get hit by this jet from the middle of nowhere, and you're like, what?
In Monster Hunter, there's a new crab enemy, and there's it's not really a blue variant, like it is different, but there's another blue crab as well. And there's a hunt where you fight both of them. Like, this is just PTSD right here.
2 crabs at once. I can't do this anymore.
What is this? Yeah, but
2
Monster
crabs,
Hunter,
1 hunter.
Really good. I'm sure I'm going to keep talking about it for weeks to come because, long game, lots to do, real fun.
Every time I hear you talk about Monster Hunter, I'm just like, in one universe, there is a Matthew that exists that got in Destiny and just never clawed his way out of that pit.
I don't know. Like, I probably would enjoy Destiny, but I don't know.
It's the same grind. It is identical to what you're describing.
I mean,
it's like the gameplay is different, absolutely. But like the mechanics that are there to keep you on that treadmill are exactly the same.
Is there a longsword in Destiny?
They do have swords now.
Oh my god! Can you counter with your longsword?
There's no longsword, but you can. At first, it was like a special weapon that only appeared in certain missions. But I think now you can actually add it to your inventory, like your loadout, like proper, so you can equip a sword at any time.
See, the problem with Destiny now, though, is that there's just too much content.
It's very dense.
I can't wrap my head around where would I even begin. I'm sure that every season they have a means for newcomers to, to fast track them or onboard them. Yeah. But I just feel like, oh my god, like to get into now, maybe one day if Destiny 3 ever becomes a thing, like that's the time
to be honest, like every expansion drop is an entry point. But even then, I feel like it does demand a bit more of your time than a Monster Hunter because so much of its stuff is time limited.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're not playing this thing in the 2 weeks that it's available, you miss it. Whereas Monster Hunter is like it's not
there
like
forever.
That, Your only limitation in Monster Hunter, I think, is like playing when there are other people who are interested, like friends are playing at the same time, because I do find it's not the same experience alone. Like, it's still fun. I played a lot of Rise alone, but I definitely had the most fun when I was going on hunts with you and other friends. So yeah.
It's a good time.
I think that's why I didn't get into World, because by the time I decided to actually try World, everyone had kind of moved on, and then I just didn't get into it.
Getting into base Monster Hunter now would be difficult, because when I played leading up to the expansion, I was lucky, because when my friends went online, you can hunt the monsters by yourself. That's fine. But it's obviously a lot easier with a party. Well, quote unquote easier. I think the monsters get more health. But it seems a lot more palatable to do it with a party. And every monster I hunted, I would search to see if there's anyone else hunting it. And like 1 in 3 or 1 in 4, I'd find another person doing the same hunt, another group of people. So now with the expansion outs, I'm like, at base game, I'm sure it's barren. Like, I don't know how many people are, still hunting the babies.
Yeah.
But it's interesting though, because I do wonder, like, I get why you can't just dive into the expansion, but it would have been really nice if it was a standalone of, hey, like, it's an add-on to the base game, but if you don't have the base game, it's cool. You can just pick up right here. Like I know it doesn't work like that. But it
or
would be cool.
at the very least, like you need the base game, but like here's a boost,
No, you can,
so you can
yeah,
start
you
with
can
the
start.
content immediately.
Yeah, they give you the boost, but it's the thing of here's the boost, but you got to still use this boost to get through.
Yeah, I think
the base game.
that's also the thing that's like kind of kept me from purchasing the game again on PC, because like I put these hours in on Switch, and granted it wasn't the same as yours, but like I don't have
to redo
you know
it,
if I was jumping into Sunbreak and I was like, cool, I can play with you guys Sunbreak immediately, I probably would have like I would have made that plunge, like even if it meant purchasing the base game and never really getting to it again. But the fact that I needed to spend 24 hours, which is like cumulatively like how much I've spent with Elden Ring over the past 2 months because of the limited time I've had, like there's just no way.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So yeah, that's unfortunate that it's like that. That's something you could learn from Destiny, because Destiny is not like that.
You can just,
Destiny has like one or two
expansions.
introductory missions which new players have to play, and then you can just start the new expansion content. And yeah, you miss out on the story content from previous expansions, but you can always go back and play it. But you can get into the thick of like hunting down your weekly and daily things and jumping in straight with friends immediately. And I think it's really good. That's a much better way to go about things than this. So yeah. But either way, it's good that Sunbreak is good. It's selling like crazy well, which is
2
great
million
to
copies
see.
in the first week, which is
Definitely new
kind
Monster
of-
Hunter coming.
yeah, kind of crazy though for an expansion to just sell. that
Imagine a
well.
Monster Hunter taking that full power of that RE engine on new consoles.
Well, the PC version looks good, but we do keep in mind that it was originally designed for Switch, and with those limitations,
and
in
still
mind.
on Switch, so
And
it
still
still
on
has to
Switch,
target
yeah.
that. Yeah.
So I'm very, very keen to see what the next Monster Hunter looks like, because I'm there.
Can't wait
I'm there
for
now.
Crab Sword ray tracing.
Ray tracing. I'm there. I'll play
Ray
it.
traced crab swords.
I mean, Monster Hunter was on that leaked NVIDIA list, so there's
I
one
mean,
coming.
I think it's like one of the surest bets you can make. It's like World is Capcom's best-selling game ever. Rise is still selling super well. Like, of course they're going to make a new one. Whether it comes in the next, I would bet within the next 2 years we get it.
I also think so.
I'm almost certain that they're going to give Sunbreak now a good year to have its thing, and they've been working. I'm pretty sure they've been working on a new Monster Hunter in the background. Like it's not like okay, now let's start. So,
I think Rise has a roadmap for like at least a year. So
At least,
they'll have a smaller team working on that now, and then it'll start work.
I bet like probably next year we get an announcement of a new one, and it launches in like 2024 or something like that. Yeah.
Where will you be in 2024?
Jesus, who the fuck
I'll
knows?
be
That
there.
year does not sound real to
Playing
me.
Monster Hunter. Yeah. Well, there we go.
So yeah, like I said, I really have not played. I genuinely have not touched games this week until last night. I put in an hour of, so I'm probably going to be playing the expansion to Forza Horizon 5 fairly soon, the Hot Wheels expansion.
Oh, yeah?
So I just dipped my toes back in there yesterday to remind myself how to drive a car.
Works.
That game's still good. Who would have thought? But
Get
boy,
out.
returning to that game after like months, that map makes no fucking sense anymore. I don't know what I was doing last.
Yeah.
What I need to do next? It's
too
just
many icons. Yeah.
icons fucking everywhere. It's just real overwhelming. But yeah, game's still good. Still enjoy it.
Nice.
But yeah, that's really all I got to really touch this week, unfortunately. Didn't even touch Elden Ring this week because
How dare you?
work and load shedding.
This is
just
why they call you
fucked
maidenless.
me.
She haven't
It's
touched
true.
Elden Ring.
It's true. It's true. I haven't communed with the two fingers in a
Alessandro
long time.
maidenless Barbosa.
Listen, I did not realize that at the beginning of the game, I thought the whole idea of the fingers was very metaphorical
Yeah.
until I met the two fucking actual talking two fingers. And what the hell?
Well, what's wrong? I can't wait for you to finish the game and watch that Vati vid.
Jesus Christ. There's
'Cause
just
that
this lady
law-
who like translates the whispers of two gigantic fingers
Yep.
What?
And desperately wants to look at your hands always. Well, those old ladies in general, yeah.
I guess I did get to play a bit last weekend after we recorded, and yeah, I met the good Turtle Pope. Love him. Will subscribe to his church. And also discovered that the whole of this fucking map has underground caverns, which is almost like a secondary map.
Mm-hmm.
And then discovered that I missed a whole underground cavern in the very first area of the game. Fuck, man, this game is huge.
I don't know where you went. I know you missed the first cavern, right?
Yeah, not sure how, because I looked at Lingrave like crazy.
No, but I mean, it's one tiny building there, and you might have just seen it in the distance and then forgot about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the second part, so I don't know where you went down, what it looks like going down that lift. But I know in that first, that Limgrave elevator going down, there's this moment where you go down and you think, I'm going down into a mine or one of those caverns, and the lift just keeps going and going and going. And then it opens up and you get presented with this huge open cavern with like stars on the ceiling, whatever the hell it is. And then I was like, oh my God, is there a whole nother map under here? And let me tell you, it doesn't. It doesn't persist. There's not like a 1-for-1 map underneath the overworld, but there are huge sections. And
I would say this one where I went was a good like quarter of the area it was underneath.
And that's where they catch you with those good, Bloodborne moments where it's a thing of you'll open a door and be like, oh shit, like I'm back here. There are moments when I'll go down a lift or I'll go up a lift and I'm like, oh my God, it brought me back here.
I think the coolest for me is like, because the areas still feature the same names, like there was a part in the upper world where I went to a place called the Yuhal Ruins or something like that. I don't know. It didn't look like much of anything. Like there were enemies there and there were some broken statues, whatever. But then when I went underground and entered the exact same area, it came up with the same text, blah, 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 ruins. And those looked like ruins. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I get it now.
That's
okay.
When you start to realize how they've taken their good dungeon design of like fold the dungeons and then made it work in a huge open world game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, there are parts of that game where you just think it's genius design. Like,
and there's some fucked up enemies in those underground caverns, like the big ants. I came across these soldiers that reminded me a lot of the miners in Demon Souls, where they take like a stupid number of hits.
Oh yeah,
and they don't give you any. They don't give you any reward.
Straight up ignore them.
But if they hit you, they hurt you. Yeah. Like they. And then there was some like fucking magical centipede that was shooting purple things at me, and I couldn't reach him to kill him, so I just had to avoid him. Real good. A very good boss fight in the one I was in. Dragon Skin Soldier. Really
is that the lightning
that.
boy?
No, Frost.
Frost.
It looks like lightning, but it's Frost.
There's a second phase, right, where it starts. It's in a huge. No. Which one?
Yeah, it's in a huge water arena. So his attacks look like lightning. And when he does the thing on the ground where he like scatters a bunch on the ground and there's little pips that shoot up, like it is actually Frost though. Because if you let that effect go like complete, it's frostbite. But it does look like
that's
lightning.
the arena where I think there's a huge statue on one side of it.
And a waterfall.
Like I know exactly where you are.
And then there's nothing you can do at the end. There's just a chest at the end, and then you've got to walk back, which I thought was a bit anticlimactic.
That chest, what did you get from it?
It was a summons, I think.
Or was it a summon? Is it not a smithing stone?
No. It was some medallion.
Okay, I'm getting it mixed up with something else. Because there is one of those boss fights where you get a smithing stone. Like that's your plus 10 smithing stone. I was like, oh. Unlike Bloodborne, where you can upgrade like one weapon max, they are very liberal with giving you.
They did eventually change that in Bloodborne, thankfully, post-launch. But and then I realized I hadn't gone back to the hub or base or whatever the round table is, and boy, did I have smithing stones. So now I'm just fucking tearing through people.
Nice. For now,
it's real good. Exactly. For now I just feel a bit more powerful, and I've got that good blood passive on both my swords. I'm waiting because I know it's going to happen. I'm waiting for the boss that I encounter that is immune to blood, and then I'm fucked. Like, well, I'm not fucked,
No,
but
yeah, your
I
weapons still
can't
do
like
a fair bit of damage. Yeah,
I like can't depend on like getting a few hits in and then just a whole chunk of their health disappearing. You know. Because that is real
You're doing the
satisfying
exact,
right now.
those scimitars were my most used weapons in my first playthrough.
They're so good.
I found others
so
and I
good.
messed around, but I was like, man, these two are just too good. Yeah.
Now I'm in the Academy of Raya Lucaria.
Harry Potter land. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely does feel like that. I really do hate the spellcasters with the really big heads. Don't like them at all.
They headbutt you.
Well, I don't like the frequency at which they are there. Like I walk into a room and there's 5 and they just all cast at the same time. I'm like, cool, I'm just going to die. Yeah.
I went to that area. So I couldn't figure out how to get in there. I knew I needed a key and I just left that area and I went off and I did a whole lot of other stuff until I came back and I found the key. You obviously found the key. You know, it's by the one
I
dragon.
Came across it by accident. I came across the dragon. So that dragon's not the same dragon you fight by, what's her name? Rennie.
No, I think it's
because
different.
That dragon I fought, and when I got him to half health, he ran away.
Yeah, I don't know where it goes.
So you never found it again?
No, it's hard to keep track in this game because there's so many damn dragons.
That's also true. You see, I thought it was the same one, but then I looked at the names. I was like, it's not the same one.
So I only went back to Raya Lucaria ages later because I had a marker on my map going, I'll come fight this dragon at a later stage. And then when I did, I was like, oh, here's the key I need.
Yeah.
So Raya Lucaria in my first playthrough was a complete breeze. I was so overpowered.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel overpowered. I just feel like the bosses, the first mini boss there is that dog, the red dog.
Doggo.
Like,
yeah.
I killed him in like my second go because I was just doing stupid amounts of damage to him.
That was the same with me. And then the second playthrough, I was like, oh, damn. This place is so difficult.
I was actually grateful because that arena is quite small and he moves quite quickly. So, but I think the thing now is just like these fucking spellcasters they burn me down so quickly. So it's actually a pain.
Yup.
And now I've got into the outer like courtyard and there's one of those fucking Iron Maidens and I hate them. They are just so difficult to kill because all of their attacks hit you. Like even if you dodge like them throwing out their claw at you, when it retracts back, it hits you. So it's just like, God damn it.
You've been watching the carve-out animation videos.
I have. They're so good.
Because there is the last one they did, well, I think episode 9 was actually Raya Lucaria, and there is a part where where you that site of grace where you spawn, you run through those like iron doors, whatever they are, into the courtyard.
Yes.
So they represent this in Carbot where they see the Iron Maiden and they run back to the sites of grace for like safety. Like, oh, thank God, I didn't get hit. And one of those chains gets thrown past them and they're like, phew, and it comes back and it hits them. It's like it's just so on the nose. Them. Yeah, it's like it's so clever. You just hard relate.
It's ridiculous because it's like it throws past you like, cool, dodge. Then it's coming back. You're like, cool, I'm aware of that. I dodged that. But then when they fully retracted it, they do like a little swing. So even if you dodge to the side, you get hit again. And you're just like, how do I hit this person? Like, this is crazy. And then if they come at you with their stupid like blood claws and you get caught, you're just dead. Like game over. I did understand now the hint from Patches because I did see the well. I don't know how to get to the bottom of the well. Actually, I do. I just chose not to go there.
Yeah.
Because I took the well upwards and then never let it like take me all the way down.
So if you go down, there's an Iron Maiden down there and
I do know.
And
I do know there's something special about that Iron Maiden.
And you'd think
I gotta give that.
Yeah.
If that thing just fucking pops me in Khaled again, I'm gonna be so mad.
No, it's Elden
Every
Ring,
fucking bad chase just puts me in Khaled and I'm like, fuck this place, I hate it here.
Talking about Elden Ring every week until Alessandro finishes it now. Confirmed.
Yeah. Look at me. I'm like, I played a little bit last week.
Mick will be happy because he's like,
ended up speaking about it for 10 minutes. Jesus Christ.
My goodness.
It's good. I do know after this, I've spoken to characters about it, so I know it's coming up, but Volcano Manor is, and I can sort of see parts on the map that look like a volcano. So I'm just like,
You haven't gone back to Khalid yet, eh? No.
No, I keep running away from that place.
because there is stuff there as well. And I think, look, Khalid, there are parts of it where
I have to go there eventually.
There are parts where it doesn't matter what your level is, shit's just going to hit you hard. But there's one or two important story beats there. So don't neglect it too.
Is it not part of the main path? Is it a place that you can completely skip if you just do not go back there?
You can completely skip it.
Weird.
You could completely skip Volcano Manor as well if you wanted.
No, I want to go. I want to go there. I've heard enough from characters that I want to visit it. Yeah. Got to go back to good old DJ Khaled land.
DJ Khaled.
He's the boss. He's the boss there. Yeah, we had it again. He's just there with his fucking huge bottle of champagne. That's his attack.
Damn it. Hardest boss in the game.
Yeah, exactly. You can't fight good vibes. Like how? How do you...
Bleed doesn't work on good vibes. It just doesn't. Good Lord. Cool. Well, there you go. That's 40 minutes of actual stuff we were playing. We started this episode going, oh God.
we fucking did it, fam. We did it. Should we look at game releases?
Yes.
So we're looking at July 9th up until July the 15th, I think. Yes. Yes. July 9th. Let's go here to July the 15th. Wow. Actually, quite a bit. And mostly stuff I've not heard of. Firstly, we've got Neon Blight, not Neon White.
Yeah, I was just thinking. That's a game I need to get to.
Yeah, God, Neon White I want so bad. That's coming to PC July 11th. Monument Valley is coming to PC on July 12th.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's
Panoramic Edition.
Yeah, Monument Valley 1 and 2.
Nice.
Those games are really good.
I played the first one. Good mobile games.
Very good puzzle games. So, yeah, play those. Kroot, The Mythical Wings? Kroot, not Kurt. Kroot.
I am Kroot.
So that's... Yeah, I am Kroot. PC, console, and Switch, July 12th. Zell? X-E-L. Zell. I think Zell.
These next two, they have to be related. I'm calling it.
So that's PC and Switch, July 12th. Then we've got Loop Mancer, PC,
and
July 13th. Necrosmith. So what if you swap them? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Loopsmith and Necromancer.
These two have to be related. In some capacity.
Or like
Loop. Loopmancer on Steam is a 3D platformer roguelite action game with realistic graphics that take place in the cyberpunk universe. And then Necrosmith is... There's no description here. A necromancer simulator. Assemble the dead using different body parts while upgrading your tower. Okay, two completely different games, but it's just funny that
Necrosmith sounds like a vibe. Yeah. I'm into that.
Loopmancer and Necrosmith. Love to see it.
The Tale of Bistun. PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. So I assume that's coming to Game Pass if it's only on Xbox, July 13th. Super UFO Fighter, PC and Switch, July 14th. Ambition, a minute in power. Minute.
Minuet.
A menu in power.
No idea.
July 14th. Legends of Kingdom Rush. Okay. PC, July 14th. Clanfolk. Steam Early Access, PC, July 14th. And then just Loud on Switch, July 15th. Loud.
Oh, damn.
I love being loud.
Did you ever play Kingdom Rush? The tablet
no, because
tower
I'm not
defense.
Huge into tower defense. Yeah.
Okay,
but I know you guys all love it.
No, so Legends of Kingdom Rush is set in that, it is that
is it?
universe,
so it is related. Yeah. Okay.
Seems like it, yeah. RPG turn-based combat game with deep tactics and bad jokes. No, so it's no longer a tower defense. It's an RPG.
Deep tactics and bad jokes. That is I love that. I love how that's the description. Cool.
God damn. Yeah, so I wonder... Yeah, it's not a tower defense, it doesn't seem.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
That's
it for new games this week. Should we move on to the stack of gaming news we have this week.
We have so much gaming news.
I think the only thing we can lead with is God of War Ragnarok. God of War Ragnarok launching finally. Well, I'm not going to say finally. I mean, we finally got a release date for it after lots and lots of waiting and lots of really shitty people harassing devs at Sony Santa Monica. Don't be like that.
Yeah.
But it is coming to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 on November 9th.
Nice.
And I think at this point, I don't see that shifting. Maybe, stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
We've seen release dates announced. I think it was The Last of Us 2 Part 2 had a release date, and then literally a month later it was delayed. So it's not impossible.
It's not guaranteed.
But I don't see it happening. Yeah.
What's so interesting, so with this announcement, they dropped a quick 30-second trailer, which is 99% cinematics. But it's so funny because this has obviously not been confirmed, nor do I think it's the case, but it almost makes it feel like this is a co-op game.
Yeah, it seems far more like focused on that.
Because it's like both Kratos and Atreus talking, and then the gist of it is like, we better together sort of thing. And then it ends with the shot. If you're watching the video version, it's just Kratos and Atreus just looking menacingly. I'm like, damn, this game could have co-op.
That would be, I mean, I don't think it will. It would be rad.
That would be such a surprise if it, just before the game launches, like, oh yeah, you can play as Kratos or Atreus.
You can play as Atreus like completely independently. Yeah.
I would not be surprised if in this instance, not at launch, but at a later stage, is like a horde mode or something, maybe with a playable Atreus. Perhaps.
Okay. That'd be cool. I'd be into that. But yeah, we got it was a CG trailer. Very, very flashy. Got to see that big wolf. I think his name is Fear at the end.
Fenrir, I think.
Fenrir. Yeah, this game looks. I mean, again, you brought up early in the week when we were chatting about this, something that I think a lot of people have been thinking about, like, will it hit in the same way that the 2018 game did? And I think that's the big question mark, because like the reboot obviously is a reboot, so it feels fresh. It's completely new. We have no idea what the sort of Kratos and Atreus are. And, a big part of that game was, to me at least, Kratos like addressing his past and combining that with this future. You don't have those emotional beats to hit in the sequel. Yeah. So will it hit in the same way? So that's the big question mark to me. But I'm still like fully into the idea of playing this. So yeah.
So I just lost the page. it just closed.
Just decided to escape from you.
That's
there.
So weird. But yeah, sorry to echo what you said. I completely agree. I think it will be a good game. Oh my God, what is going on with my PC? Why is this not closing now? I just don't know if it'll hit the same way it did in 2018. 2017, 2018.
No, 2018.
So 2018.
Yeah. It's been 4 years since that game. That's crazy.
Why do I think it's 2017? God of War.
No.
Yeah, it is 2018 because Breath of the Wild was
I think it was March 2018.
No, you're right. It's 2018,
like Yeah. Crazy.
Cool. Excited for that though. November's not
very excited,
too far. So
it isn't. So that's a good 1, 2, 3, 4 months away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, because it's the 9th today. So yeah.
Cool. What else?
I guess let's just stick with release dates. Forspoken, the Isekai fish out of water new action RPG from, is it Luminous Studios within Square Enix?
I don't know.
Well, that game, it's been delayed. It was going to come out, I think, in November.
It was end of October. It's like a week or two. October? Yeah. Oh, sorry, I speak rubbish. October 11th.
Yeah, October 11th. It initially was meant to launch in May of this year. So, yeah, we're approaching almost like a full year on delay. but it is not coming out on January 24th. Again, this just shows that, just because a game has a release date announced, it can be delayed multiple times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still don't have really much.
This is
This game just looks strange to me. Like I think it looks pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
But like I think it was Darren who said in Discord, he's like, it looks like a tech demo. Like it moves and looks like a tech demo.
It'll be flashy and all of that, but yeah. I know this is not at all what happened, but it was hilarious that God of War got a release date. Then quite literally within the hour, Forspoken are like, "Now fam, we're coming out next year."
Screw this. Even though we're a month before, we're not dealing with that.
I initially thought like, oh, were they coming out in November? And then I was like, no, they're coming out in October. It was just funny. The timing made it look like, oh shit. Don't release anywhere near to God of War. Which is funny because do you have anything else to say on Project 8 here?
No, I think it's... So, I'd be happy if it comes out and it's great.
Look, I never want a game to come out and go, I told you it was bad. I always hope that a game that I'm sort of lukewarm on comes out and it's great. I'm like, oh shit, okay, I completely misunderstood this game, or I don't, whatever. Okay, but Forspoken, a month before God of War, go, no, that's too close. Skull and Bones come out here with the new. With the new gameplay overview and the release date of, it's like November 8th, the day before God of War. Yeah, it's
literally the day before God of War, yeah. I mean, look, to be fair, they had this thing lined up without knowing the God of War date, so I feel kind of bad. But
but it is funny where...
And it's an entirely different game.
I completely acknowledge different game, different audiences, all of that. But you have to think there's a PR team or a communications team going, oh my God, like we're going to lose out to all the headlines that week. Because people are going to be talking about God of War. Like, sorry, it's the bigger game. All that said.
And especially so, I don't know about this still. Hey,
So if you don't know what Skull and Bones is, this game was first revealed at E3. I think it was 5 years ago. I looked it up. It was 2017 or 20. Oh, is it before that?
Yeah, it was like...
Okay, so... It was.
I played it at E3 2018.
Sure. Okay, so that you played an actual build of it, and then the game quietly disappeared. And we know that
for a very long time,
a reboot or something. And we got a new gameplay overview trailer finally to give us some insight. And look, I think the game is going to have an audience, without a doubt. Like there are the good mechanics there of, you start off with a small boat and you get a crew together. You got to stock up on supplies before you go out, and then when you're out you can choose to ransack mercenary ships for their loot, but you got to be careful because there are bigger ships defending them, and like there's a loop there, right? It's like you're gonna get bigger ships and there's different kinds of ships and all of that. But man, I don't know, this is one of those games where I feel you have to play it to know whether it's good or bad. Because
to me this almost feels like this being sent out to die a little bit, because I think it was last week there was reports that this game like has to come out within this financial year because of agreements with like the government in France or something like that.
Really?
So there's like literally no more road for this thing to take up. So I don't know, man. It definitely looks more expanded than the idea that was originally pitched, which was just like online ship battling. And this looks more like a survival game, but it's still like very limited off-boat
I think
gameplay. Like you're not boarding other people's boats and having fights. No. It's more like a cinematic thing.
And the only thing you can walk around, I think, are the actual hubs at ports.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird because at the back of my mind I think, okay, initially you can't walk around an island because they're not going to sit and code like a whole set of animations for walking. But I'm like, but you can walk around a port. And then
did you see how janky that looked where they were like shooting a coconut tree with a cannon?
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting to.
The coconuts are just coming out.
Like, so there's now, if you see an island with the coconut tree or, or
like a resource that you
don't get off your boat and, go hit it with a pickaxe or climb the tree to get the coconuts. You park your ship next to the island, and there's this weird animation that shows you mining it.
Which and then they're like maybe, the fucking coconut tree just shakes.
Which, look, maybe we're nitpicking, but it just feels like this game's being labeled like, the ultimate pirate simulator. I'm like, well, I feel like the ultimate pirate simulator would let me walk around on an island and board other ships. Like, I don't know, another game called Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. That's just me.
It just looks weird to me. Yeah, I mean, it's pitched definitely as like they were making a big deal about like you can play this game alone, but it's definitely geared towards more social play.
Yeah,
and I can see that, and that also really doesn't entice me. I just don't. Yeah, there's not much that this game is doing for me, but at the same time, a lot of people said the same for Sea of Thieves when it was first shown off and when it launched, and that thing has really just grown and grown and grown.
It's huge now.
And when you look at some of Ubisoft's post-launch support for its games like For Honor and stuff,
I mean,
maybe
Rainbow
this thing
Six,
hits.
Rainbow Six Siege is a very good example as well, where I think that launch was received like very lukewarm, like
quite
it's
poorly,
and now it's like one of their biggest titles. Like they've got season after season.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good at their post-launch.
Yeah. So I mean, and like remember, Sea of Thieves also, I think it reviewed okay, but people play the game and like there's not much to do. Like it's
it was very sparse at
launch.
And,
I mean, it took them a while to sit and patch in. So like maybe at a later stage, Ubisoft, when this game's got some room to breathe, it's out. The devs can focus on just expanding the experience. Maybe they do go, oh, hey, here's the Island Walker update. You can now walk around islands. Here's the resource mining update. You can actually go off and like hit a damn rock and get resources now. Like, because I mean, the foundations here, right? I mean, the game does look visually quite pretty. I think it looks pretty cool. I don't see them not being able to add that sort of thing in the year or two or whatever. But again, a game doesn't really appeal to me personally, but I do think it's one of those things where you kind of have to play it to really feel like, oh, this really works for me, or I don't actually enjoy steering a ship. It's cumbersome and doesn't excite me at all. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. Out November 8th.
Yep.
I think it's only on current gen consoles and PC. I don't think it's coming to older consoles anymore.
Oh, really? That's probably a good move.
Yeah, probably a good move.
Okay, so that's all the release dates. Although, let's just touch on this one quickly because this is also, I think this was kind of rumored, but it's official now. Lollipop Chainsaw Remake is coming, reportedly without Suda51 or James Gunn. I had no idea.
Yeah, the publisher bought back the rights to the franchise, and they were like immediately like, yeah, we're going to do something with this.
I had no idea James Gunn was linked to this at all.
Yeah, I actually only found that out pretty recently. I think when I played the game in 2012, I had no idea. But then in 2012, I had no idea who James Gunn was anyway. I think only, like most people, found out who he was after the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But Suda51, who's the game's creative director, and James Gunn said they're both not involved with this remake. This remake. Oh, so in addition, the original voice actor for the leading protagonist, Juliet, Tara Strong, who I mean is everywhere. She's Harley Quinn in the Batman games. She's Bubbles in Powerpuff Girls, like one of the most prolific voice actresses in the business. She's also not involved. So they could probably use the original VO. Like, yeah, I don't know. There's some weird things about this remake. It's like they're like, oh, we're going to push for a more realistic art style. I'm like, that's kind of the opposite of what you should be doing.
I mean, this is from the original, right? It's like very It's almost like
it's super flashy. It's like a lot of the game is based on these like ridiculous looking effects and stuff like that. So we'll see. The game was received very lukewarmly when it launched, borderline negatively. I thought it was fun, if, a bit like childish at times. Because it is. It's like, it's a cheerleader with a chainsaw fighting people, fighting zombies.
Fighting zombies.
Like, come on. Yeah.
Super serious.
I'll still play it because I think that game is cool.
Yeah. Cool.
But with all the original people not involved, we'll see how disastrous this remake is.
Cool. Okay, now we can sit and nitpick. Shall we talk about Crisis Core?
Sure.
Which is coming out sometime.
Yeah, there's been a
bunch
bunch of interviews for Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, which is the remaster of the PSP exclusive Crisis Core.
It's not confusing at all. It's
not at all.
It's very straightforward stuff. Yeah.
So a bunch of interviews with a bunch of outlets, but two of the main things I think that they most struck on were some of the changes the game is making to combat, which at first I was a bit apprehensive about, but reading about the changes, they seem to be fine. So firstly, your attacks as Zack are going to be more combo-like as opposed to just single attacks with a single button. So I think it will just flow a bit better, probably taking a lot of inspiration from Remake 7 in that regard. The other one is that you can store potions and magic in assignable buttons, like hot swap buttons, so you can access them a bit easier. And then I think the biggest one is the game's what's it, DWM system or DMW system? The little lottery, the little slot machine numbers that are in the top left. So previously those, depending on the characters that you've met in the game, your connection to them, it would kind of randomly determine whether you could use summons or limit breaks based on your affinity with those characters. It tied in quite nicely with the story. So if at any point in the story your connection with Aerith was really strong, she would pop up there quite frequently. So it's called the digital mind wave feature. That's what it's called. So now,
of course.
So now that's still there, thankfully, but you can now sort of bank limit breaks and summons and use them when you need them to, as opposed to only using them when they appear there, which I think is a cool change as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad they didn't get rid of it, because I think that is central to how this game functions and hits certain story beats super well, because it will contextualize some of Zack's thoughts in battle through that system. It's very, very
clever,
smartly done. Yeah.
Also,
so if they got rid of that, that would have sucked.
Yeah, also, godsend in some cases, I'm about to die, and then you roll an Aerith thing, and she heals you. Oh, thank God.
I'm pretty sure that's there for a reason. It's it's very deliberately done. Cool. If you're at minus 20% health, your odds of rolling Aerith are much higher, just so it feels good when it happens. So yeah. The other big thing in the interviews is that they said they are not changing the game's story, which I think a lot of people were speculating that this was going to be a remake deal, that the story would be changed to kind of line up with the events that are now happening in Remake, which if you haven't played, there are some big implications that take into account Zack and his future. So
it's going to confuse a whole lot of fans who
I think this actually makes it far more confusing, because
so those who have never played Crisis Core nor the original Final Fantasy VII are going to go in going, okay, there's this game based on the dude we saw at the end of 7 Remake, and he walks towards Midgar. They're going to be real surprised when he dies at the end of this game.
And it's wait a minute, wasn't and then when what's the new remake one called?
Rebirth. Requiem.
Rebirth, yeah. Rebirth comes back and Zack is alive. What the fuck are they going to do then? Yeah. Cool. Interesting. Wow, we probably should have prefaced that with spoilers, but it's been a while.
It's been a while.
But especially for Crisis Core, come on.
I mean,
that game,
at this
it's almost
stage,
20 years now.
Crisis Core and Final Fantasy VII have been out for actual decades now. So, speaking of, what do you want to bounce to?
Should we talk quickly about Red Dead Redemption and the lack thereof there for a while? Cool. So Red Dead Redemption, or Red Dead Online, the online component of Red Dead Redemption 2, is kind of being sunsetted. Rockstar came out to kind of address fans, basically saying that they were holding a funeral for the game because there'd been no like major updates for the past year. And they kind of confirmed that, yes. So it actually says here, over the past few years, we've been steadily moving more development resources towards the next entry in the Grand Theft Auto series, understanding more than ever the need to exceed players' expectations for this next entry to be the best it can possibly be. As a result, we are in the process of making some changes to how we support Red Dead Online, which basically means major themed content updates will not be coming out. So it will be small updates, like probably just like keeping it alive type of thing. But like, I think this is the sunsetting of this online mode, which, to be fair, never really caught on in the way GTA Online did. It's not surprised that they're just moving on.
Yeah.
And I think like them hitting GTA 6 and GTA Online out the gates like hard is the biggest focus for Rockstar right now. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Game is going to score hundreds from so many people and be entirely okay.
100%. I'm solely with you there because I've not enjoyed the GTA in the way that reviews suggest ever. So
best thing since sliced bread. Last few bits of news. I mean, should we talk about? Let's talk about E3. Bam.
Yeah. So I mean, E3 is coming back in 2023, which wasn't a surprise, even though they skipped this year. They were adamant that they would be back next year. But it kind of seemed like even if they were, it wouldn't really matter. But now they're coming back with Reed Pop behind them, which is, if you're unfamiliar, Reed Pop is a big company. They actually own a bunch of game publications. I think Eurogame is actually owned by them, if I'm not mistaken. But the big thing is that they are the organizers of events like PAX in the US. So they kind of understand consumer events. So if there was ever going to be a company that could understand how to bring E3 back in a way that made sense, this is the best shot yet.
Yeah.
So they do PAX, EGX, New York Comic Con, and Star Wars Celebration.
Sure.
So they do all the big events. So yeah, I think the ESA can now depend on an expertise of people who know what the fuck they're doing. And this is for the first time. Like, I'm actually excited that E3 might come back in a meaningful way.
Also makes me think that, I mean, E3 in its last few years, it had like a public facing component. Makes me think with this company behind it that it will be a lot more of an emphasis potentially.
Definitely. And probably more like actually worthwhile, because the past two E3s, the last two E3s I went to were both ones where they allowed the public in. And I actually felt bad for the public because like the event itself was never geared for them. So to me, it felt like they just wasted their money to sit in.
Go there,
to sit in lines and actually not it. Yeah, it didn't feel like it was meant for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope this actually helps them quite a bit. And balances it out. If it means that, there is a day, like the very first day is just for press and then the rest is
public facing.
Public facing, that'd be cool. If everyone goes in thinking of the event in that manner, then it can be geared properly in that manner. So yeah.
So there we go. GameStop exec fired, more mass layoffs even as meme stock surges is the headline of this article.
I mean, GameStop keeps being a weird company. They laid off a bunch of people, including some good people at Game Informer, which is a publication they still own. But no one from their blockchain or that sort of division was laid off, and they keep pushing in that direction. So yeah, I'm not sure what else the company is.
What's going on here?
Yeah, what's going on there? But yeah, seems like it's still really shit over there.
Yeah. And then last bit of news, sad news, Yu-Gi-Oh! Creator Kazuki Takahashi has died. That is, if you do not know, the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Essentially, or the manga artist responsible for the creation of Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't actually know how he died. I know he was 60.
Yeah. I don't think I've actually read.
You know what it was? It is actually quite strange because it seems, if I recall, it was like a diving accident, or like he was
like scuba
at
diving.
sea, yeah, or something.
Hectic.
Okay, but now, yeah, here we go. Takahashi was found floating while wearing snorkeling gear. And his body was recovered by the Japanese Coast Guard. So it's like, it wasn't a heart attack or cancer. It was some strange, like...
I mean, it could have been a heart attack.
Maybe
he
yeah,
got
true.
stung by something.
Yeah. But I thought that was
snorkeling.
Oh my God.
That's hectic.
This is written by Darren Bozo Hayes.
Darren Bone Thighs? Damn.
Bone Thighs in the flesh. Yeah. Which are very sad.
Yeah, so, that is quite sad. 60 is not old.
Nope.
And then on top of it, to die in like such strange circumstances.
Yeah,
that's shame, man.
That
sucks.
Yep.
Big sorry to him.
Yeah.
Heart of the cards.
Heart of the cards. And that's gaming news.
That's gaming news. Which means we are now moving on to questions. If you want to send us a question, you can email us checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media at Checkpoint Chat. You can send us a message there anytime.
All day, every day.
All day, every day. 24/7, 365, up until 2025. Then stop sending us questions.
Then the questions expire. We have 2 tweets. So number 1 from @JaredBrapra, who says, "Hey guys, out of questions for now, but have a great weekend." No, you have a great weekend.
No, you have a great weekend. Well, how dare you?
If you're listening to this on Monday, which is the only time you can start listening to it from, have a great week. Hope you had a great weekend.
Yeah.
Have a great week.
Yeah.
And then we have a question from Megs who asks, will EA/FIFA titles gain in value since they split up?
Will EA/FIFA
titles gain in value since they split up? So I think it's the whole fact that EA's football games are no longer going to be called FIFA, essentially. It's not.
I think they'll be fun.
Yeah, also think I don't see anything changing. You could call it EA the ball kicking simulator and it'll still sell like hotcakes.
I think the only thing that, maybe this will be confusing to people at first, but after the first game comes out, they'll understand, okay, this is the name change. And the biggest thing is that EA's retained the rights to the names.
Yeah.
So the names and the leagues. So it won't be like a Pro Evolution instance where you're playing with like very loosely
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Exactly. And he plays for like Manchester Union, So it's like
Leicester United.
Leicester United, exactly. And so I think the fact that the likeness and the names have always been at the cornerstone of that.
Yeah.
So the fact that it just lost the ability to call itself FIFA, I think that's a much smaller concession than most people think. Yes, it will be confusing at first, but I think the fact that I think next year EA is going to come out with their first non-FIFA branded football game, and I highly doubt FIFA is going to have their, they've said they're contacting developers, to work on a FIFA branded game. That doesn't just spin up overnight, and even if it does, it's not at the quality that EA.
Yeah, EA's been perfecting FIFA for actual decades.
And people know like EA now. Like people who predominantly only buy FIFAs, they know that FIFA is done by EA. So when they see an EA game without a FIFA name on it, that is football, I think the connection will be there that something has happened. Because you've got to remember the large majority of people that play video games don't engage with video game news.
No.
So I do think the big thing is just like the first year of this transition and making it clear that this is the same game, if not better. And the names are still here, so you don't need to worry about it not being called FIFA. So,
what do you think?
But will there be some drop off? Probably, like very slightly. But I think that will be regained very quickly.
Yeah. You got to give your name prediction though. What are they calling it? EA.
I think they announced it actually.
Did
EA
they?
without.
What do you even Google? EA is FIFA without the word FIFA.
Yeah, it will be renamed EA Sports FC, which is actually a terrible name.
There's just
like you got to get
club.
football in there. Yeah,
Hilarious.
Sports Football Club. Like that's actually a horrible name, which I think probably makes more problems than it does. But yeah, but I still cannot believe how salty FIFA was over this whole thing. Like, I'm just reading the Kotaku article now. I'm just trying to find where they mentioned something. It's so fucking ridiculous how they worded it. They're like, I can assure you that the only authentic, real game that has the FIFA name will be the best one available for gamers and football fans. The FIFA name is the only global original title. FIFA 23, 24, 25, 26, and so on, because apparently we can't count. The constant is the FIFA name, and it will remain forever and remain the best in capitals.
You know what would be funny though? If you've explained it'll never happen like this. But imagine FIFA do come out with a FIFA in time. They find a new developer tomorrow and they spin up a game real quick. And next year they come out with FIFA 23. It'll confuse a whole lot of people into buying it. Not a word of a lie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then when they like, this game is fucking trash. Like
FIFA's really gone to the dogs. Never supporting this game again. Let's bounce to Konami's
What is
eFootball.
Sports FC? What is this? The thing is, you know, if you're only playing FIFA, you do kind of get whiffs of like you've probably heard that, oh, this split has sort of happened or something is changing. So you're already penned onto the idea that something is different. So you know, I think consumers are savvy in that regard. But the utter confusion for like Christmas. Like, no, I wanted Sports FC, not FIFA 23.
Parents like, but you love FIFA.
Yeah, you see the shelf with FIFA from 09 up until 20. Now you must know that it changed
just
names.
to confirm it's FIFA. That is a legit strat.
It would be fucking hilarious if FIFA do find a developer and that game fucking rips. Like, it's just like FIFA, incredible.
FIFA 23 sells 5 million copies.
Then EA can be worried. But I just don't see that happening. So, yeah. I don't see FIFA finding, you know, FIFA wanted someone to pay them literal billions just to use the name on the cover. So now they need to find a developer willing to do that then also has the resources to make a good game that is not EA, like the second biggest publisher in the world. Like, I don't know.
I think there is merit in paying for the name FIFA, just for that example, but not billions. Like, holy shit, how will you recoup those costs? Even in the long run. I thought the
billions included the player names and all those licensing fees. Then I understood it, but it was literally just for the name, and that made no sense to me. Like,
no.
Mm-mm.
Cool. Mm-mm. Well, there we go.
Cool.
That's all the questions.
If you want to send us questions, you can also email us checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on all of our socials at Checkpoint Chat. Mm-hmm. And that has been episode 192 of Checkpoint Chat.
Done and dusted.
If you listened this far, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for the consistent support. Mm-hmm. And we will see you next week. Same time, same place. Have a great one. Goodbye.
Goodbye.